Hampton man is trying to clear his name before he dies.
George Bryant was convicted of a heinous crime, sexually abusing his 6-year-old daughter, and 20 years later the story's changed. And following our investigation, Bryant's efforts to clear his name may be moving forward. 10 on your side's Andy Fox is on the story tonight with more. Andy?
Tom and Alvita, this is a very difficult story. We have contacted Bryant's daughter, who has stated his innocence. She has told us that, but she is not ready yet to come forward in public. One day, hopefully she will, to once and for all free her father from his prison called life. Down by the bay, retired Army Major George Bryant is living in a hell.
There's a combat Vietnam veteran who has almost gave his life fighting for this country, and I've been living basically virtually in prison.
His life, a prison, exposed to Agent Orange, which has led to prostate cancer. In 1993, Bryant stood trial for sexually touching his then 6-year-old daughter between June and September 1992. But now the 6-year-old, now 26, has recanted and says it never happened. In 2006, then Governor Mark Warner restored Bryant's civil rights like ability to vote, but his record is still not cleared. In 2006, then Governor Tim Kaine failed to give Bryant an absolute pardon. Another request made in 2010 to Governor Bob McDonnell seeking the absolute pardon is now with the governor. George's daughter writes,
As the victim, I'm speaking out and pleading that my father's name be cleared of these false charges.
Hampton Circuit Judge Walter Ford found the 6-year-old to be a credible witness and found Bryant guilty.
I was absolutely astounded.
The prosecutor, then Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney Lori Hogg, who is now a Norfolk judge and who was a friend of the 6-year-old's mother, kept asking for an active sentence. But Judge Ford did not listen to that and gave Bryant a suspended sentence, no jail time, and did not formally take away visitation rights. Bryant's attorney, Ashton Ray, describes this as a compromised verdict.
You're not going to jail, but I'm not going to find you not guilty and make this child feel like I think she's lied.
But we now know the 6-year-old was not telling the truth or setting the record straight, but she was only 6. Bryant says in court the 6-year-old did not act like a victim of a sexual crime.
Actually, she was sitting there smiling at me.
She, entered the courtroom, hi, Daddy. Just really, it was obvious she had a good relationship with her father.
Bryant's daughter writes, I remember thinking that the whole thing was a game. I was laughing and smiling at my father, not acting at all how a sexually abused child would act. Bryant passed a polygraph test, which is not admissible in court. The sexual abuse examination showed no physical evidence of abuse. George's daughter writes in the recantation, there were no signs of molestation, but they proceeded to say that I was
innocent. I did not molest my daughter.
In her letter, George's daughter blames the Hampton Department of Social Services. Instead of them giving advice, it was treated as a sexual abuse case and blown way out of proportion. The prosecution relied heavily on the testimony of then Hampton senior social worker Ann Shreve. We confronted her at her home.
We took all allegations of sexual abuse seriously.
Yeah, I know, but see, I'm just here because the daughter who has recanted said that that they were following the lead of the Department of Social Services and that they blew the case way out of proportion.
We would just investigate it.
And that it was not a case of sexual battery and that all he was doing...
That's all.
Well,
all cases are taken equally, allegations of sexual abuse.
Then my sense is it's a case that should have not been prosecuted.
And the daughter now admits, I was told by my lawyer what to say and what to do in court. That was not right because a 6-year-old will pretty much go along with anything. But of any line that tells all you need to know in the recantation, it is this. My father has watched my daughter on several occasions. He did not molest me. That's why I trust him with my daughter. I am asking his name be cleared. He is innocent. And everything that he has been accused of is 100% false.
It is gorgeous.
And yet you call it a prison. It's a prison.
That's right for me. It's so beautiful for anyone who does not have a record as a convicted sex offender.
Bryant's daughter must testify in a court of law to get him a writ of actual innocence to begin the final process of clearing his name. Governor McDonnell is considering an absolute pardon, but Bryant would still have to go to court to expunge his record. Our investigation also discovered that, contrary to what many believe, convicted felons like Bryant can be buried in national cemeteries, including Arlington National Cemetery. Only those convicted of capital crimes, and that's not this case, cannot be buried in national cemeteries. Thanks to photographer Aaron Kurtz for his dedicated effort on this report. I'm Andy Fox, 10 on your side.